Hey guys, we'll give folks a bit of time to join us. And in the meanwhile, I just feel free to chat amongst yourselves. It's fine. And then we'll come up with some kind of idea to work on today, right? As we just want to talk more about objects. So yeah, we'll start maybe 8:10 or 8:15. Someone can start coding. And yeah, until then, you guys should just feel free to talk. Would it be helpful if I just, did the usual thing, just mute myself and take off for like 10 minutes and come back at 8:10? You guys, would you prefer that? You guys can keep talking. I'll only come back if I hear silence, I mean, if nobody's talking and then the line's dead, then I'll come back and I'll have to start talking. All right. So if you don't want me to start talking, you just have to make sure that there's no silence on the line. Okay. So I'm just going to be here. So, I'll be around. Yeah, Peter just got here actually. So we'll start at 8:10, 5 minutes, five or 10 minutes. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Yes, are you okay with that? With me taking off? I don't care. I can stay here and talk. I just feel like I'm taking up the airwaves all the time. And you guys should have more of a chance to talk amongst yourself, because I gather from that you guys are not all taking advantage of the STEM Center breakout rooms. Right? During the actual on-campus sessions, I go into the STEM Center, and anytime I go into the STEM Center, like 4 or 5 of you are sitting there, right? Whether you're working on our projects or other classes, doesn't matter, but you're all together and talking and doing something interesting. And and I don't think it's happening as much in the virtual center. Maybe it's because the hours are more because it's available 24 hours. If it's available 24 hours, what are the chances that 2 people are going to go at the same time? Right? Right? It's like saying, oh, wait, we haven't contacted extraterrestrials because, alien civilizations, if you think that every civilization has an arc, come and gone, what's the probability of billions of years, 2 of them overlapping, right? Anyway, you guys should talk, all right? So, and I'm gonna be off. All right. Hey, Turkey, welcome back.
Did anyone have trouble accessing the code I put on Reddit?
Yeah, I copied and pasted. I think I need to edit some parts of it so it can run, because it did not copy the same style that
Okay.
was set up as.
I think it might be this inconsistent formatting that happened when I just straight pasted it. Because it's got like little text boxes that make this side and whatnot. Yeah, straight pasting it just adds backslashes for some reason. to anything with an underscore.
Hey, what's going on? Are you guys ready for a class or
Yeah.
yeah? Because you're not talking, obviously, so maybe you're waiting. Uh,
We're trying to get the code running because the way it was copied and
the one that Mark posted? Oh,
Yeah, I should
hey,
start
hey,
using
hey,
applets
did-
because
I
I'm getting
forget. Mark, I forget. Did we compile and run the code successfully in class? Hey, your microphone is still like totally screwed up. Your battery or whatever it is, because there's this noise that you were with last class. It's back. So anyway, raise your hand if we got your code to compile and we ran it in class, or did we leave it loose? With some loose ends that we said we'll come back and fix later.
I mean, it ran during class, but when I just pasted it into Reddit, it looks like it added a bunch of stuff.
Student and address and things like that. That's what we got to do. I'm pretty sure. I think I remember now. Yeah, it's come back to me. We got it to compile and run, and then we made an address a private variable and had a direct experience of what happens if you try and access a private variable, right?
Yeah, but it looks like when it pasted, it changed some of the variables to add extra backslashes and some of the variable names to.
Wow! Did
email
you do that? I didn't
links.
notice. I didn't notice that. You're talking about your Reddit post?
Yeah, I should just
Yeah,
put it on
the code looked okay to me. Or maybe I didn't look at it closely enough. The reason I say this is because 2 quarters ago, either was it in 2B or 2C, someone posted code. Maybe I think it was in 2A. Someone posted code in Reddit and said, "This is what I got. Why doesn't it work?" And then someone else replied saying, "Hey, your syntax is all wrong because you got all these backslashes." And he replied saying, "No, I didn't put the backslashes. The Reddit put it in, but I didn't notice it." And someone else picked it up, and just like you described now. Yeah, it's funny. Anyway, so we need to have a working version of that code. Can you post from your Notepad plus thing into Replete or something, so someone could basically pick it up? What we'll do today, in fact, hey, Mark, you know what? Let's not do if everybody's happy with that code, let's not even go with that code anymore. Let's do something interesting, okay? Let's take that program that we wrote before in C. Well, not C, we're a non-object oriented program. What is it? The lucky sentence generator. Yeah. Yeah. And let's take that program and convert that into an object oriented program. Create a lucky class and have methods associated with it. This is a real thing. We'll actually end up doing a real thing here. Yeah, not that other things are not real, but you know what I mean, right? So the procedure is real, because many times we think of an idea in procedural form, right? Unless it comes to us in a flash and we can't explain how we got it. Many times the solutions we get to are grinding through it. Mentally grinding through it. And so what I mean is that we can very clearly describe every step of the process. That's what I call grinding through it. So we can clearly derive, right? Now, sometimes what happens is that you find you get solutions without having to grind through it. However, after having got the solution, you can find out a grinding path backwards. And if you look at lots of algorithms out there, that's how it is, right? So sometimes you look at the algorithm like Dijkstra's algorithm and bam, it looks immediately obvious that it works, but you don't know exactly why it works, right? And you can prove that it works by going through it step by step. So some of these incredible insights just come to you because I think it's because your subconscious does a lot of work for you. What used to be part of your conscious is now part of your subconscious. So much so it's been relegated to some extremely fast hardware or something. I don't know, right? Optimized runtime routines in your brain. So you don't even see these, and then you skip like 10 steps and see, that's what it is, right? And then you can say, well, it's that because, and I think there was someone I used to know that people always used to say, that person, you ask them for an opinion, they'll give you their opinion first and then give you the reason for it because they don't even know the reason for their opinion, but they'll always chain it back. Right. So, and there is a person, who basically say that's what and how do you know it's true? It's true. Well, but you can trace it back, and that's how this thing is, right? So what we can do is we take a regular C program, an idea in our head, because we've gotten to it not in a flash, but in one step after another, we're able to translate that into a program. So initially, that sequence of steps in our brain is not object-oriented. Our brain, who knows, what paradigm is used for computing in our brain, right? So we're still researching that. But if it is procedural, then it can be embodied in a Turing machine, right? So you just have to break it down into detailed enough steps, and so that's what we did with the program, the final version that Turkey posted, almost the final version, right? There's a few more tweaks here and there, I think, because we did things in class that weren't reflected in Turkey's code. And I think if you combine the two, you get the final version. So with that, so we came up with the idea, implemented it as our brain basically dictated step by step. And now, and that wasn't at all object-oriented, if you think about it. But it's object-oriented in a conceptual way, because we're thinking about it in a certain, right? But it's not programmatically, syntactically laid out and what many C++ programmers do is basically come up with a procedure in something like C logic in their head, assembler logic, or logic, basically, algorithmic logic, right? And then say, how can I take that logic and translate that into a computer program in such a way that it is robust? Robust meaning it's less likely to break, because anyone can write a computer program and it may work, right? It may work in some cases, but it takes a computer scientist to think about robustness and efficiency, right? So what we say is we've got this idea, and obviously I can code it. Anyone can code it, but let's try and see if we can code it in a way that minimizes the risk of someone using the program badly, or me trying to make changes to the program and I break things. So how can I reduce? Because that's taking up a lot of my time, right? If I did everything nice and well, then I know that I've just saved myself a huge bunch of time to relax. And so how can I do it? Because I think we think, right, about this idea. It's a really cool idea. I want to put it down so I can enjoy it later, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to try and make some changes later. And then I know that when I make those changes, I'll break things and I want to go and fix it. It'll take up a lot of my time. It's headache, right? So this idea is not worth implementing in the first place, right? That is most of the time, that's the reasoning we come to. And the result, the conclusion we come to. And so what we think is, well, if there is a way in which I can embody my idea in a way in which I can send it to a machine, and that way is not going to cause me downstream headache. That is the greatest concern, I think, for all programmers, right? Every programmer I know, they don't want downstream headache. So they'll do a lot of things, sometimes even over-engineer and overkill, right? But everything we do is, as programmers, we try and protect for, and taking care of our own asses, as it were, right? So we want to make sure that it doesn't bite us later on. And so we'll say, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to code this logic, not using assembler, because it doesn't need, this logic that I have in my mind is so distilled and refined that it does not need assembler anymore. It can use a higher level language, right? So in fact, I can do it in C. So however, if I do it in C, there's all these, even C is too powerful, right? I'm not using all the full power of C. So why should I use C if I'm not using the full power of C, right? So, well, then I could use C++, right? So C++ is still the full power of C, but a lot of it is concealed. So you don't see the full power. So you can still continue to use C++ and not sacrifice efficiency, right? Because from the same reasoning, you can say, by the same reasoning, logic, right? You can say, well, why stop at C++, right? Because my logic does not need the power of C++. So my logic can be implemented if I just have a mechanical robot, all right, or a friend, right? And I could just describe my instructions to them and they'll do it. It's going to be really slow, right? But but it's easier for me, right? So my logic can still be executed on a Turing machine, right? That's what I mean, right? Why do I need to go to C++? And the reason is that, C to C++ it gives you the power, but does not take away efficiency, right? Anything in C++ is as efficient as it is in C. Whereas if we go from C++ to another, let's say byte level language, byte code language, or interpreted language like Python or something like that, right? So you're buying yourself stuff. You're absolutely buying yourself a lot of good things, right? By making that jump. But as long as you're not needing the full power of C++, right? So when do you need the full power of C++, right? When you say that, well, ideally I would love to code that game in Python, right? But I can't do that because it does all these real-time fancy graphics. And so I have to use the Unreal Engine. And even Blueprint is, in Unreal, I think, I'm not sure, right? Maybe there's an Unreal expert here, right? So I think in Unreal, even blueprints are not compiled directly to C++, right? Blueprints go through some virtual machine like Java, right? It's compiled into bytecode and then the bytecode. So there is a step if you write a program entirely in blueprints are basically flowcharts, right? Visual programming. I think we talked about this before. That's why I'm not belaboring this point. So blueprints are basically flowcharts, like Tom Cruise does in that Spielberg film, right? So drawing things and connecting by arrows and so on and so bubbles and so on. So and so that is a language, a visual language, but it's slower. Because there's this intermediate step, just like Java. So, but you do buy something by going to blueprints, right? Where you don't need the full compute power, the raw CPU cycles. You're better off doing it in Blueprint because Blueprint is much more manageable and easier and visualizable and nice to move around and looks nicely. Okay, and it looks nice too, right? So you're better off doing things in Blueprint where you don't need the power of C++. But when you need the power of C++, then you can't afford the virtual machine overhead. So you say, now I want to go directly to machine code. So, and then, engines like Unreal make it possible for you to blend the two together and say, I want to do this part in C++ and call that and visual language and link the two together at these points, right? As in programming, that's what we learn, right? Rather than if you just went in and learned on your own, like in game boot camps and things like that, game dev boot camps, people will say blueprints are the next great thing since sliced bread. And they'll say, I'm just going to do everything in blueprints, right? Even really hardcore graphics that they shouldn't be doing in blueprints, right? Defeats the whole purpose. So instead of creating a C++ class that does that and hooking into it from blueprints, they'll never do that. And so that is why rather than being sold on a particular path, right? A particular path, a particular way, being open to saying, I'm not interested in one path of doing that because I'm only interested in the end goal. And so at any time, I should be open enough to say, that's not working, I'll try that. That's not working, I'll try that, right? So you should be able to jump. Otherwise, you're stuck, right? You're going to be waiting until the path in front of you thaws, right? Until summer sets in or something. So, but if you keep stopping, you can, that's me, it's right, not being wedded, not being attached to any particular way, but just finding your way around because you know where you're going. I think, so, and that's the way people become good programmers too, right? Eventually. Now, maybe many of you, maybe C++ is not your first language, right? You know other languages. So there's already 2 or 3 languages, and then you'll also hopefully, pick up other programming paradigms, right? Programming paradigms like declarative or functional, right? And maybe quantum. And then you can blend accordingly, right? So you don't have to be, if you go on Quora and other sites and, social media, you'll always find people so passionate about one thing. And they'll insist that is the only thing that everybody should be using, right? And but that is not the right way to do things, right? Because the only right way to do things is go after what you actually want to do, right? So you want to go there and choose the best thing at every. Use the Dijkstra algorithm to find out the most, the shortest path, or things like that in your mind. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Anyway, I think it's time. It's 8:20. We should talk. And I only started talking because you guys didn't talk, right? I just came back and it was silent. So there is a message in chat. I don't know what the message is. I can't see the chat window as we say. Oh, Mark posted the replete link. Okay. All right, but I think we won't use that, Mark. Thank you, but you should share that as long as it's not behind a login wall. You should share that on Reddit too, right? Because especially if your previous post shows up for some people with these slashes.
Yeah, I posted it as a reply since that first post ended up
Oh, I see.
Kind of messed.
Is everybody seeing those slashes? That what, Chris? Who mentioned? Who brought it up? Maxim, did you bring it up? Someone said your code had slashes. Oh, Turkey. Is everybody seeing those slashes in Mark's code on Reddit? Because maybe it's a client-side issue, right? Maybe the renderer on the Reddit settings or your settings on Reddit. I don't know. I'll go and check. Nobody's answering. So nobody's even seen your post, Mark. All right, okay.
Well, it definitely didn't show up if I copy and pasted it into replete. So I'm under the impression it's Reddit.
Yeah, no, it's fine as long as it's an doesn't require login. People will just click in. I think that's much better formatting. They can even run it replete or online GDB. Yeah, cool. So here, let's do this then. Maybe someone can pick up this code that Jacqueline and Turkey wrote. Hey, where's Jacqueline? Hey, where's Srikaran? Where's Srikaran? By the way, he has an open question in the forum. I haven't answered it, but I'm hoping one of you will answer it. Okay. Srikaran has an open question in 2A. Who else? I think that's it. No activity after Mark posted his code. And I think Srikaran posted something. I don't know. Maybe the midterm is basically knocked off a lot of you guys. You're not active anymore. You remember, they're easy to grab participation points. You shouldn't be letting them go. I did write to a couple of you who were not showing up in class and say, hey, why are you giving up these easy to get participation points, right? And you'd be surprised. And one of them actually emailed me saying, thank you for checking in, but you know what, I'm only doing this course on the side to know what C++ programming is all about, so I don't need an A+. I'm only going for 85%. So yeah, so there are people who just want to just know what 2A is about, and it's so funny. Hey Harry, you had a question too, right? But that's a midterm question.
I can't find the question. Which question is it in the right one?
No, not Turkey. I was talking to Harry, but your question posted on Reddit. Turkey, yeah, sorry.
Do I post it on Reddit?
No, let's just pick up the code from that you posted, the lucky sentence generator. We'll just make some tweaks to it and then turn it into an object-oriented program. And obviously, today is our first cut at turning it into object-oriented, right? So it may not be the best possible way. And so you can take that and say, hey, I can restructure the objects differently. I can, and all these things you can play around with. So the scope for experimentation is huge there. Isaiah, are you there? Because his camera hasn't been on.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, all right, good. I just need to hear you at least.
Yes. No, I've been trying to get my camera on my other one, but it's not working on my phone.
Yeah, I know you have these two devices on it. Crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. Turkey, when you're ready, you can just take the screen. Now, unless someone wants to go. Okay.
All right, let me just pull up the code.
Yeah, if someone else wants to go, share the code with them, and then they can go. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You know, all of you are pretty comfortable taking the stage at this point, I assume, right? And most, all of you have coded here on screen, and you know how it goes. All right, great. All right, let's run through this program really quickly to see what, not run it, but let's go to the main, and in case people, me, right, don't remember what it does, so we can see. All right, if argc is 1, generate lucky sentence. All right, default return 0. That's great. Or else you package folder and then generate lucky sentence from the package folder. Great. All right. And so let's look at one of those, the lucky sentence, generate lucky sentence, guys. All right, there it is. Okay.
Hi, I'm sorry. It's hard to see. Like it's small. Could
What do you
you
mean, font is
like,
small? Oh, all right. Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
You know, even I could read it without my dollar glasses previously. Are you looking at it on a phone or something?
I use my iPad.
All right, no wonder. All right, okay, cool. So yeah, you're getting a random adjective, random, and every time, and you're basically saying you have a function called random word from a vector. So you pass it a vector of adjectives, nouns, and so on. And then you're presumably a load package is going to look in certain files in the package folder and fill in your vectors, pp, va, adverb, and so on. Yes? Okay. It looks all right to me. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions before we start converting this program? Well, I suppose we should run it. We should run it and show people. Does anybody have any fun packs? Or are we just going to go with the usual big pack? No fun packs? For do you call it test?
Usually when I test any code, I have like a CPP test and I have a sandbox. So when I copy the code, you just place it in test.
Oh, I see.
So-
Okay, yeah.
And,
Cool, cool.
and if you run it, it already creates an exe. So I'm just going to do it this way.
Great. Run it, and let's look at the sentence. Oh, you do have a package. Oh, that's a package of all of the words, right? All of them. Nobody has a specific. Oh, what is that? Oh, test :string. What's going on? Oh, that's funny. Well, it's no, it
Maybe
says,
I need to create it from the beginning. Generate an exe.
yeah. Create an exe right there. Yeah. No, test.exe. Thank goodness. Because it's the output file, it'll override your source otherwise.
Test.exe.
Test.exe. No. Just test.exe space test.cpp. What that means? No. You want to say G++ -o test. Up arrow will get the key, right? Up arrow will get the same command. -o test.exe. Is this VS Code?
I'm in PowerShell and VS Code.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Space test.cpp. I presume that's the name of your file, right?
Yep.
Okay. Enter. No input files. It says there is no file called test.cpp.
Oh, I am in the wrong folder.
All right. Okay.
So CD.
Dir. Yeah. If you know it's in there, that's fine. Is it in here?
Yep.
Yay. Okay. Now test.exe will work. So you just run test and give it your package name. Oh, but your package is somewhere else, right? Give it the full path name.
It's in the same folder.
How come it's just in the same folder? Because previously you were somewhere else.
Oh yeah, I ended up going to all the path to sandbox, and in sandbox I have package folder here.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, the digital diamond gratefully implemented over the dopey laptop. Run it one more time. Every time you get a different sentence, right? It's also interesting, right? The dopey pray. How come you're getting too many dopies? One more time.
I think it's
Hi. An elaborate earthworm closely justified on the embarrassed ebook. Yeah, it's really cool, right? And it also it kind of makes sense and it's funny. So you could actually set up a web service, right? Get a nonsense sentence, right? Every time an API. So you just hit it, you get a nonsense sentence, and that's kind of cool. An angry flower swiftly ran under a sad orange. Right?
This is
Almost poetical.
and this is the default package if you run it without that.
Yeah. This is cool. Anyway, I like that. And I was really hoping someone would have created a Harry Potter package or something like that. Star Wars, Harry Potter, any of these, right? Twilight, these are all these series. Okay. All right. Now, here's what I'm thinking, right? And you guys can chime in and re-engineer, right? Rejigger the whole thing. My proposal is that I'm thinking we'll have a class called Lucky, right? We'll have a class called Lucky, and then yeah, that class will have inside of it all of the vectors necessary as its private members, and then it will supply methods to generate a sentence. That's all. And then we'll see how there's going to be internal helper methods, right? And they would be private to the class and not visible outside, and so on and so forth. I think, what time is it now? 8:33. Wow, we got more than an hour. We'll have a lot of time to complete it and also talk and experiment with this code. Okay, so that's fantastic. All right, so let's keep what we'll do is here do 2 forward slashes and a whole lot of hyphens and one more of those, create a section. We're going to create our new code between the 2 lines, and occasionally copy and paste from what we have before. Yeah, so we're basically creating a program from scratch, copying and pasting from what we already have. And we don't want to switch to another file. Oh yeah, actually, that's fine. You're in VS Code. I'm still in Emacs mode. Not even Emacs 2, you can switch from buffer to buffer, right? But still, notepad mode or something like that. No, you can just create a brand new file. Just copy this file over to what is it? Call it lucky.cpp. Call it, let's create a class called lucky.cpp. So just create a file called lucky.cpp, brand new file. Lucky.cpp. By the way, this is a convention, right? We'll follow the Java convention. So I kind of like it that class names always begin with an uppercase letter, right? So yeah, is this a brand new file? Lucky.cpp. All right, can you rename that to capital L, just like in Java? So anytime you see a file .cpp file with a capital L, immediately without looking in the file, there's a class def in there, and it's the same as the file name. Right? These conventions really help us, speed our development. Yeah, can you change to Lucky? All right, great. Great, okay, excellent. Now, get rid of everything under namespace standard. We'll start from scratch. And then, where necessary, we'll copy and paste from that other file, the test.cpp you had. Yeah? Okay, all right, cool. Is everybody okay so far? I can see all of you, right? Hang on.
Yes.
I'm gonna, but my I can reduce the font size. I don't have an iPad like Harry here. Okay. All right, now I can see all of you. Okay, and I can read the code without my dollar glasses. Okay, all right, class Lucky. Right, so what we're gonna do is create a class called Lucky, right? L-U-C-K-Y. Right, and then I'll show you also how we're going to split this up and move some of it into a header file, and why we move into a header file. All of this will be very clear now, right? And because we're going to do it step by step, and we'll run into an issue and say, how do we solve that issue? Hey, we can solve this by breaking it up into 2 files and so on and so forth, right? So we'll have a motivation rather than if we said, oh, we're going to create like 3 files and right. Okay, all right, Lucky. All right, inside of the class Lucky, let's create a private section. Private section, P-R-I-V-A-T-E, a private colon. Hey, how come the iPad is showing the other? No, it is. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. All right, and all of our vectors, right? Whatever those vectors were. So say a vector string, I don't know, we'll do it from scratch. Actually, we just call it from. No, we don't have to copy and paste. For now, anyway. So vector of string, I mean vector angle bracket string, yeah. And then you can join up the two because it's one. All right. What are they? What are our vectors? Nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. I think those are the only ones, right? Oh, I think we had prepositions and articles. Nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, JECT. Right? You know, like teenagers, they'll say adjectives, right? No, ADJECT, adject. No, I think you got an A there. Oh, maybe it's my glasses. All right, okay. I got to reduce the size. Yeah, okay, cool. Now it looks like an E. Adverbs, and then also prepositions and articles, right? And then what we'll do is PPs, yeah, prepositions, that's fine. Prepositions, and it's not propositions, right? It's prepositions. You know, preposition is a truth value, but yeah. And then articles, plural. Yeah, okay. Now those are our vectors, and they're all private. Okay, so put a semicolon there. Those are the only things we need in order to generate our sentence. Is there anything else that we need in order to generate our sentence? No, right? Okay, all right. Now let's say put a semicolon after the closing brace. Put a semicolon after the closing brace. Now let's say that is our class, right? And it has these 5 things in it. Now, instead of every time asking the compiler for 5 vectors, I can just say, give me a lucky, right? And it'll give me. The only drawback here is all of them are private, right? So and really this lucky class shouldn't really be exposing it to the external world. So let's create a public method, right? So create a public section under the private. No, under the private. I'm sorry, Turkey, I should have said, yeah. And one more blank line, because, you know, we'll try and separate the private section and the public section, you know, after the private section, yeah, okay. And public, we're going to create a method there saying lucky get sentence, lucky.get sentence, right? We'll just say lucky, yeah, we'll just say get underscore sentence. No, get, and it's going to return a string get underscore sentence. Is that what we called it? I don't know. Yeah, previously we called it get lucky sentence or something like that. And now lucky is the name of the class, right? So we got to do something. Yeah, get sentence, open, close, that's it, right? Open, is that it? Yeah, okay. So no, open, close, parenthesis, open, close, thank you. Yeah, semicolon, right? So, all right, semicolon. Right now, and delete the blank lines for now. That essentially is our class saying that when I call get, technically that is enough, right? If we implement get sentence in such a way that when get sentence is, think about it, right? I have created a lucky class, right? And then I say, for now, let's create a main. So we'll also show how lucky is going to be used. Okay, we'll delete all of that later. It's three or 4 lines, but it'll give us a good idea of how lucky is going to be used, right? So enter a couple of times, and then start a comment there saying below is just to illustrate how lucky is used. Will be deleted later, right? Just in case we forget that, right? Below is just to illustrate how lucky will be used. Yeah, lucky will be used, and we will delete that later. No, you have done that? Okay, all right. So create a main there, int main, and then create a lucky object. Create a main and then a lucky object inside of main. So just say lucky. Forward intent and then lucky, L-U-C-K-Y, uppercase, yeah, uppercase lucky, because we want the object. We have created a class called lucky, and then we want an object. No, we just want a lucky space, what do we call it? You can call it lucky in lowercase or something like that, you know, or my lucky or something like that. You want a variable of type lucky, so you can call it whatever you want. Call it lucky, I don't know. Yeah, lucky. Is everybody okay with that? Right? No, it's not lucky sentence, right? Because we're getting a lucky object. It's not a sentence yet. We got a lucky object, and we're going to call lucky. We're going to call the get sentence method attached to the lucky object. Right? So we are only getting the lucky object as of now. We're not getting the sentence. Everybody okay with that? See, that's why I wanted to say, let's do the main first. Yeah. So, all right,
Yeah,
so semicolon right there, right? And then hit enter one more time. Now you say string sentence equals, sentence equals, no, it's a space equals space, yeah, space equals space, sentence equals, yeah, all right, and space one more. All right, now you say lucky dot dot get sentence, and then open close, okay, semicolon, right, enter. And then now you can say see out, the sentence was, the lucky sentence is so and so. What? Okay, in the உள்ள வரப்படாத காலம் வைக்காம கிடையாது அப்படின்னா இப்போ கிடையாது. Did you do that? Oh yeah, endl, you need an endl after that. Yeah, so that is how we use the lucky sentence. Yes or no? Is everybody okay so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, looks good.
All right, good. All right, so technically get sentence could do everything we want it to do, right? Everything that we were doing before in that big program that get sentence could do in a very badly engineered way, right? Get sentence could go and populate the vectors, right? And do everything and then return a sentence. It's a real pain. So what we want to do is we will try and move in the direction of C++ slowly, okay? So now that we know this is the overall thing, that's how everything is going to work, what we want to do is get sentence shouldn't be doing everything. So what we want to distribute the work around. So let's say that the moment your lucky object is created, right? You want to do a few things. What you want to do is call srand, right? When the object is created, call srand. Well, technically you call srand in main, right? So you can call, so forget about srand, right? Main, it's, let's say main's responsibility, right? Because maybe sometimes you want predictable sentences, right? So you don't want to srand it to srand. You want to have, srand should always be in the control of the programmer, not inside some class, okay? So that was so silly of me to say srand should be inside of the class, okay? It should be in main. All right, yeah, you know what? I just realized that after I told you, right? Because maybe, I would have done that sometime and gotten been, I'm pretty sure 2C students have done that, right? And have gotten bitten. So anyway, so what we want to do is, number one, initialize all of the vectors, right? Number two, if it is called with a package folder, it should initialize the vectors using files from the package folder. So what we're going to do is give the user two different ways of initializing the vectors, okay? So what we'll do is under the private, under the public section, we're going to create two special methods, okay? Two special methods. The first method is called a default constructor. Hey, actually, all of these things that we wanted to talk about or need to talk about, they're kind of folding in quite nicely into this, right? So conventionally, the constructor is the first method. We didn't do that before because we didn't do it and took the default constructor. But the constructor is the function that gets called when your object is first made, right? It is the object that actually constructs the object. It is the function that makes the object, constructs the object. That's why it's called the constructor, okay? So immediately after public colon, hit enter, and the very first methods are usually the constructors, right? So there, and the constructors, oh, by the way, get sentence returns a string, right? So you need a string qualifier before get sentence on line 20, right? It's a public method, but it returns a string, right? It's a signature. The signature of the method needs a string before it. On line 20, yeah. All right, so on line 19, what we want to do is declare these two constructors. So the first constructor, we're going, and the constructor, see, all of these methods return something, right? The constructor is a special method. Constructors and destructors are special methods because they don't return anything, right? And that is how you can actually usually, and also the name of the constructor is the same as the name of the class. So the first constructor we're going to do is called the default constructor. The default constructor is called anytime you don't pass any parameters, right? But you just say, I want a lucky, bam. The default constructor is called, okay? So this is called default constructor. So you say capital L lucky, right? The name of the class, and then immediately closing, open close parentheses, semicolon, that is the default constructor, right? That's the signature of a default constructor. These are the only things you really need to get used to, right? Initially. And then the next line, let's say we also give it a non-default constructor. So sometimes if you call the constructor with a package folder or some string, is going to do something different. than when it's called without something, right? So you're going to give two different constructors here. So the second one is called a non-default constructor. Again, say lucky. So we have two different constructors, and C++, the compiler will know which one to call depending on whether it takes a parameter of that particular kind, right? So the compiler will do all the disambiguation for us. We just say we want two things called lucky. One of them takes a parameter, one doesn't. You figure out, right? The way the user calls it, you figure out and call the right thing. Okay, that's what we're telling it. So, and then open parentheses. And then string, open parentheses, and then this is going to take the package folder as a parameter. So string package folder, right? No, string space package folder. Yeah, so that's semicolon. So, and then you can actually comment just for people who read this. Yeah, enter. Yeah, great. That's fantastic. I also separate the constructors and destructors from the rest of the methods, and getters, and setters, and so on. Right now, the first constructor is a the default constructor. The second is the non-default constructor, something you have to get used to because, this will be used quite a lot, right? Every time. And so people talking about default and non-default constructors, that's really what they mean. So if you want, you can put a comment there saying, yeah, non-default, right? So those are the two. We have to define these. We haven't defined these, right? We're just declaring all of these methods right now. So, and then let's go and define it, right? Let's go ahead and define it. Okay, so let's define the constructor. So let's define the default constructor first. Okay, so after the semicolon of the class, right? Line 24. Yeah. Now let's say put a comment saying constructors. Put a comment saying constructors, right? Where constructor implementations. Yeah. IMPLI. Yeah, he's spelling like a teenager, right? So yeah, IMPLE. IMPLE. MENT. Implementation, right? Yeah, okay, great. Constructor implementations, because you're going to do two of them. We'll do both. Yeah, enter. Okay, the first one is the default constructor, and it's going to be quite simple. Let's just say now, since the class is up here and the class is closed here, right? The class is ended here, and we're defining the constructor here. How can we tell the compiler that this constructor belongs to that class, right? So we can only tell it by prefixing the class name with the constructor. So we're going to prefix it because it's out of line. We have to prefix it. Say lucky, double colon lucky, lucky, uppercase lucky. Yeah. You get an autocorrect like that. So when you say lucky, okay. Oh, cool. Okay. Double colon lucky, double colon lucky. Double colon. Yeah, lucky. One more time. Yeah, and then open close parentheses. Open close parentheses. No, that's not declaration. Now we're going to define it. So space and then brace. Yeah, brace. And now that is the body of the constructor. This is what. So in this constructor, we are going to set default values for our. So you can put a comment there saying that the default constructor will put default values in our vectors, right? The default constructor will put default values in our vectors. A constructor, the default constructor will put default values in our vectors. Is everybody okay with this so far? Yeah?
Yeah.
You gotta speak up, okay? You got to speak up. Okay, all right. And then inside of your lucky, just initialize all of the vectors like you did from, in your test.cpp. Yeah, just take the copy and paste and then change the name of the L values. No, you got it up there. No, not there. No, further up, you had it. All the default guys. Yeah. You copy that and put it there. Okay, yeah, and then change the verbs. Verbs. I think it's verbs, adverbs, nouns, and adjectives. Change all them. I think one more. Yeah, okay. All right, so that, and then that's it, right? So the default constructor is done. So the default constructor, when I call lucky, when I tell the compiler, give me a lucky object, right? It's going to create a lucky object, which has these 5 vectors, which have been populated with these values. Is everybody okay with this so far?
Yeah, sounds good.
Good. Okay. All right. Now let's do the non-default constructor. Same case, you can, copy the first two lines and and then say lucky, and now it'll take the, package folder as your. Yeah. Thank you, Turkey. Sometimes Turkey is doing things and maybe you're not watching. Is everybody watching what he's doing? Yeah. Okay. So you shouldn't just be listening to me because there's a lot of activity happening on screen. Also, that's why if you have Zoom switched on and then you're doing something else and then just listening to the lecture, it's not going to be as useful in CS2A. Okay, you got to be in step with whoever the active coder is and be thinking with them. Otherwise, it's very hard. All right, string package folder. Now we just need to get the logic from your test.cpp, which will read the package folder. Yeah, let's have a read words. Yeah, cool. Now that we have read words, now we can also define the helper method, right? Because read words is going to be our helper method. Okay, there you go. Package folder. You see how everything is just falling into place really nicely, just like that. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. Now we need a private. We need a helper called read words, but we don't have a helper called read words. However, now read words is a function that you don't want to expose to the outside world. Other people don't need to know about a function called read words. So you can actually make it a private method that belongs only to lucky. Only lucky guys can call it, right? Read words. So only the lucky object, a person holding a lucky object can call read words on that object, right? No, I'm so sorry. Yeah, right. That means it's public, right? So nobody can call read words. Even if I'm holding a lucky object, I cannot call the read words method of the lucky object, right? The only people allowed to call, not people, right? People can't call read words. The only functions allowed to call read words are functions that already belong inside of the lucky object. Well, it all makes sense. Okay, create a private method.
Professor, I had a question.
Yeah, sure, Chris.
When should we make a private method and when should we make a public method?
Yeah, exactly, right? So read words. Let's create a function up there called read word and say it's make it private and make it public, and let's look at the arguments for both sides. Okay, so under the private section, implement a function, right? Enter the not enter. Go up one more time. Yeah. Oh, I see. The first or the enter. We need an enter because those are all variables, and now we're going to have methods, right? Okay. So private methods. What I do, and you don't have to follow this, right? To make it easier on the eye and for programmers to distinguish private from public immediately, what I do is anything that's private, I usually prefix with an underscore. Right. So, for example, this method I would call what's it called? Underscore read. And was it void? Let's make it return size t. Right. Size t. Yeah. Make it return size t. Size underscore t. Right. Read. Underscore read words. And then it's going to take a parameter file name. Right. String parameter file name. String package name. A package folder. Was it? No. What was it? Read words. What are the parameters that read words had? Read words took two parameters. Oh, it took a file name and then a vector of strings by reference. A file name and a vector of strings by reference. Okay, so take no, it's not a package folder. It's actually a file name, right? Read words from a file. Yeah, file name, comma. And then it took a vector of strings by reference because it's going to fill in that vector, not a copy of the vector, right? It has to take it by reference. Ampersand, and then vec. Yeah, and you can join the vector and the string thing following it because it's like one. Not there. Yeah, there you go. All right. So that is our private function. Okay, semicolon right there. Okay. Now, Chris's question was why? What should we? What happened to public became unintended? Yeah, and then there's a colon. Yeah. Something, happened there. Okay, all right. Anyway, no, keep the space there. Let's keep a separation between, because there'll be more private methods, so it'll look like a chunk and chunk, right? Not like one line there. Okay, all right. So Chris was saying, all right. So we have this method, read words. Should we make it private or public? And by the way, maybe it's easier to do it now. Maybe it's not. Even the methods, and actually it's a VS Code, right? You can actually do refactoring nouns because they're all private. make the private variables also start with underscore. That's a whole lot easier, right? So you can actually double click that and no, not there. Just double click. No. Actually double click and then right click, double click and right click. Right click. Okay, I think there must be something called rename or refactor somewhere.
Rename symbol.
Rename. Okay, rename. Okay, now when I say underscore nouns, yeah, enter. What happened? It didn't rename it. Oh, refactor preview. Oh, it says gives you a refactor preview. I say yes, yeah. Okay, all right. So we should have done everything. All of them. Okay, great. Okay. All right. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, Eclipse didn't do that preview thing. I think that's why I was confused. Okay. Does everybody see that? So you know what, in Xcode, unfortunately, I don't know if they do it now because I haven't. Xcode didn't used to do refactoring like this for C. We did it for Objective-C, and maybe did it for Swift. I've forgotten, but certainly not for C. And I missed that because Eclipse used to do it nicely, but VS Code is doing that. Maybe Xcode does it too now. I don't know. All right. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. All right. So Chris's question is, there you go. We have this read word method. Should it be public or private? Now, Chris, is this method likely to be called on a lucky object by random folk? Are you there, Chris?
Well, yeah. Well, so you're saying that we only make private methods when they're supposed to be called. Well, we make public methods when they're called by the client, right?
Yes. Yeah. Does it make sense? Because nobody's going to call read words. Who's going to call?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So because if you expose it, it'll just increase your own confusion later on, right? Or people like they don't know, oh, there's something there, should I use it or not, right? That's the biggest confusion, right? So features and all these features, the danger of loading products with features is that most people don't even know what these features are, and they think they're supposed to be using them, right? And so it's better to just, if they're not supposed to use it, don't even show it to them. All right. All right, so that's why it's private. Yeah, that's. I hope that makes sense. Now we can go ahead and implement read words. You just implement, and it's going to be mostly cut and paste, I think, right? So yeah, just do a lucky double colon read words right there. Yeah, and then it returns a size t, right? It returns a size t, and then takes a file name and a vector and all those things. You get the signature. You actually need a size t too. No, right at the beginning. Right? No, not there. Right at the beginning. And then, yeah, so let's start the body. And then there's going to be a whole bunch of cut and paste from test.cpp that I think you guys should walk them through it, right? Or if Turkey can do it, it's fine. I'm not going to walk anybody through this unless someone asks explicitly. Yes? Okay. All right. So just go ahead, cut and paste, and then I can take a look after you're done. And someone else should also chime in, right? It shouldn't just be Turkey, and I don't even know if you guys are even watching. Right? Yeah, Chris talks up occasionally, and then Mark. These cookies I gave Peter, they cost like ½ cent each.
What?
½ cent. And it's actually quite tasty, I mean, this is human cookies, this is basic cookies I got at the Indian store. And yeah, it's meant for humans, but it costs ½ cent. Everybody done? You should just tell me, right? If you're waiting for me, you should tell me. Done?
Yeah.
I think we're almost done with the program then, right? I think we're almost done with the program. What time is it now? Wow, it's only 9 o'clock. We got a whole hour. Okay. This looks like we're gonna get a lot of free time today, right? Despite all our, useless banter, we're getting to complete it very early. It's week 7. Is it week 7?
Week 6.
No, this is week 10. You missed your midterm then. Okay. Who said week 6?
Me.
Hi. Did you do your midterm? You did your midterm. You also had a question, right? So no, week 6 is midterm. This is week 7.
Oh,
Yeah,
week
week
7.
7. And this is the end of week 7. So we're starting week 8. And but still, week 7. Would you think about it, right? Do a mirror reflection of yourself back to the beginning of the quarter. And just look at the size and scope of the program that we're writing right now, right? It has some non-trivial logic to it and reading files and so on and so forth. So if this was the program that you were supposed to write in class number 3 or 4, it would have been quite, what would you have thought, right? As you would have, I don't know, maybe some of you are already programmers, but those are not programmers at all. They might have thought, there's no way I'm going to write it. And right, so it's like, I don't even know what are these things, angle brackets and string and so on. So and then a lot of people get scared away. But look at yourself right now, right? This is just week 7 and you're cutting a big program. And right off the bat, we started with an empty slate. Yeah, that's why last class I warned people against reading ahead in the subreddits, right? Because in the subreddits you always look at people that have solved your problems but gone on to face other problems, but they're stuck, and you think that you can't even. But no, that's never the case. Okay, everything done now? Is it good to go almost? Right? So
I wouldn't say, because we're still thinking about the articles.
Yeah.
Because you have to pull them down.
Oh, in both of those constructors, fill in do the random. Oh, we do have prepositions. Yeah, but take the prepositions and adjectives or whatever. Prepositions. Oh, we still need the other helpers, right? Get random adjective. No, get whatever. Yeah, let's do all those things. I'm sorry. Do you want me to talk you through this, or can you guys? Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Is everybody following along? I'm gonna call it. Yan, are you good here? Are you following along? Yeah. Okay. Elizabeth, you good? You good? Okay.
Yeah.
Maxim, Chanyi, Ray.
Yeah, I'm good.
Jingyang.
But why I feel like it's more complex than the last one?
Who said that? Oh, Harry.
Yeah.
One sec, Harry. Yeah. I'll answer your question. Hey, Isaiah. Where's he gone? Isaiah? See, he took off. Or his mic is switched off. I don't know. All right. Well, we'll catch him later. Harry. So you said what? You said this looks more complex than before.
Yeah.
No, all right. So I see what you mean. Okay. All right. So you have to believe what I say now, because you'll know that it is true. Okay. When you look at it, and if you don't believe what I say is true, you're not going to look at it and find out it's true. Okay. So it is not more complex, except for the fact that we've introduced this new concept called object. Okay. That one concept, this object, we've brought that to bear on the existing logic we already had. So if you're finding this complex, you're going to find the other program equally complex. So if you understand that other program, right, get comfortable with it first, right? I think that's the best way to approach this, right? Let's finish up the code today. But before you understand this, understand what Turkey posted before without using objects, and then look at it again, saying we take that program and turn it into an object-oriented program, right? If you look at this first, you're trying to understand two things at once, right? Trying to use objects as well as putting the logic inside of the objects. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So first, get the logic right. Look at the program without objects, like Turkey wrote 2 classes ago. Yes or no? I need some feedback, okay? Because I can't even see you. You got your camera switched off and then you're not speaking.
Yeah, because I'm charging my computer.
Okay, then you have to speak. Yeah, that's fine. But you just have to say yes or no. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So forget about, we're going to do this anyway, because it's going to be there as a record for people to come back and refer to and all. So that's fine. We're going to do it with objects. But if you don't understand the logic, look at the non-logic version of it. Someone has to do this, okay? Someone has to post a link. to on Reddit maybe. Here's the non OO version of the same program, and then in this class we converted that, and so people can look at them side by side and see what exactly happened. Yeah, can someone volunteer to do that? I'll give you 1 point. Okay. All right. Okay. One extra credit point for the first person to go ahead and do a post saying this is the program, and then exactly the same program with cut and paste turned into that program using object notation with scope for improvement, because the object can be refactored. Object can be made better, designed better, and so on. Okay. So someone has to make that post. Great. Okay. And you can also link to the YouTube video where we're creating this live. Okay. So is it done now? Is it almost finished then?
No, I was just waiting on a question here. So the articles part, it's actually generated based on the noun and which part of the noun they use.
Yeah.
So
Let's
I'm
create-
wondering
let's
if
create-
it's not a vector, so it should be maybe a string.
Oh, did we used to have articles before?
No, so we have an article generator that chooses a random article based on the noun that you passed.
Oh, I
Because
see. In that case, let's not
checks
even
for a
have,
vowel.
yeah, we don't need to have a string variable. Yes, thank you. I can see why it could be confusing because we have the other parts of speech and also prepositions, right? We didn't have a vector for prepositions. Did we have a global vector for prepositions there in the other one?
Oh, yes, we did.
Okay, they both had the same thing. Okay, that's fine.
There you go.
In fact, what we should do is even remove prepositions and adjectives, and we'll just say get random preposition and get random adjective. They'll embody those two vectors, right? Those two, right? All right. So let's create two more private helpers. Get random adjective, get random prepositions. Two more private vectors, right? And then two more private helpers.
Main article and proposition, right?
Yeah. At the end, I hit enter there. Yeah. Okay. And I eventually put a blank line before after the vector declaration so that we have it on two different lines. Okay, so say string. I think what did we call it? Get random article.
So article.
I think we call it get random article or something. Yeah. Get random article, because it's going to be a method. Yeah, and then open close, and then also do the same thing for preposition. Oh no, it takes the article takes the two parameters: string adjective and string noun, two parameters. Yeah.
For proposition, I do have a package that have propositions in them.
Well, we don't. Let's not have a package anymore, because we will just build in the propositions, right? Because those three are the most, and it'll make it easier for us to make the package too. All right. So string get random article. Yeah, get random article takes two parameters: string
Adjective.
string adjective and string noun. Not that. No, it's going to take parameters, not the member. It's going to take parameters. Yeah, string a. You can just call it adjective one. Yeah, adj comma string noun. It takes two string parameters, right? And then prepositions doesn't take any parameters. Let's implement those two now, and then we'll come back to this, right? So go go to the implementation part, and then let's implement the get random article, right? Yeah, string get underscore get random article, and then we need to do some cut and paste there. String adjective, string noun. All right, now let's do some cut and paste. That there is a bug here that we overlooked before, and we got around it by putting a comment and all. Really, what happens if nouns is also empty, right? So we want to make sure that we can access nouns of 0 if none was passed to us as empty. So what we want to do is if noun is empty, we just return an empty string immediately, right? Because you can't have an article with just an adjective. The tall. Yeah, you can, right? The tall or taller than the short. You can have, if nouns and adjectives are both empty, yeah, if noun equals blank and adjective is equal blank, return empty string for now. If noun and space double ampersand. Yeah, and you need spaces around the operators. You put later. And adjective equals now. Yeah. Hey, you got it to do it automatically?
Yeah, I do have, there's a shortcut for format.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, and then return, enter, next line, just return blank line. Return, you need to indent that in. Yeah, semicolon. Yeah, okay, great. So, and put a blank line after that. So you know that, we're going to take the easy out. Easy out is they're both blank, okay. Now we know that they're not both blank. So if adjective is blank, you can confidently access nouns of 0 because you know that it's not blank. Does that make sense? Now, most of the time, this is not even taught in beginning C++ classes, right? They just say that's what you should use. But we went through the process of finding out why we do this and why we do these checks. But these are very important because these will save you hours of work later on, right? Because you may have a program that works without doing these corner case checks, without running in your mind the outlier situation where you accidentally get called by a careless programmer who passes both of those strings as nulls, right? So that might happen 1 in a million times. And so you never catch it in your testing. So if you're not in the frame of mind that is actually actively thinking about these things as you code, you'll never put these in. So that's why, these boot camps and also these fast prep courses that teach you to just code, and they'll just say, these are the examples. And that's how you do it. And you just follow these patterns without really knowing why some of these came around. And many of these will work, even if you follow them half-ass way, right? And that's really dangerous. Okay.
Shouldn't we use or?
Sorry?
Shouldn't we use or instead of and on line 55?
No, we should use or there, no, and there, because you only want to return a blank string if both of those are null, not if one of those is null. Yes?
And is there a reason we're not passing by reference on the adjective and noun?
I suppose you could pass by reference. Yes, you can pass by reference. You can pass by reference, and then you can also make them const so that they can be changed. That's even better. Yeah, const string reference. And make them const, yeah, and then both of them const strings. Not there. The const has to go before before string, yeah, const string. I think that's better. Thanks. Yeah, you need a space before the, yeah, all right, cool. And then you need to change the signature at the top, the random up at the top, inside the class, Yeah, they'll both be const. Ampersand there, and then the constant. Yeah, thank you, Mark. Is that better?
I'm not sure if it's better, but
okay, wait, we did what you asked. You said you wanted to make them all references. We made them references. All right, okay, cool. Okay, well, I hope you're happy. All right, let's go back to the code, get random article, and then is everything okay with random article? So got a noun, is the yeah, okay, cool. That's fine. The article function, just copy and paste works. Now let's do the same thing for prepositions. But except with prepositions, what we're going to do is, yeah, the string, copy and paste the declaration just like that, and let's get random preposition. We'll define it now. No, it's string, right? Because it returns a string. Lucky colon. Get random preposition. This is actually much better, right? Because it's just three words. Better to just put it in here rather than read it from a file.
I think here we need to return a random one at this point.
Yeah, you can just say copy and paste that, return back rand % back dot size there. No, not there. Just copy line in your test.cpp, copy line 52. And copy line 52 from your test.cpp. Yeah, triple click and yeah, put that there, and then we'll change it slightly. Right now, call it instead of vex app. Not there in that function. Yeah. Yeah, PP there, and then the other one also is PP. Is everybody okay with that? We just define it just right there and then return. So that should return a random preposition, yes? And you can also put in more preposition later on, right? So you can say random over, I don't know. All right, cool. Okay, so is everybody okay so far? Because now we also got those two functions. What else do we need?
I think we need the generator where we put them all.
Is
in
that
one
it?
string.
What about get random noun and all those other guys?
We should create a get random word from vector.
Oh, I see. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Get, and that should also be private. And Chris should now probably be very comfortable with knowing what becomes private and what becomes public. Yes, Chris? Where's he gone? Hey, Chris is gone. Okay. Anyway, but that's what we're doing. Okay. We're making them all private because we don't intend for users to call these methods. And the less and the more copy and paste we do from your test.cpp, I think the better it will be for students who refer to these to learn about object orientation. You know, the weak 6 part anyway, right? Because they can compare them side by side. Oh, and it also needs to be no in your function see, that was quite dangerous there, because your vector could be really huge, right? If your vector is really huge, then you'll end up copying a lot of bytes for waste, right? And also vector by itself is nothing, right? So it's got to be a vector of something. So let's say make that a vector of string, vector of string. And you can make it const. Yeah, it should be const. Your const was right there. I think const. Because you're not going to change it. And then it shouldn't be passed by copy. It should be passed by reference, because it could be like a huge vector. You don't want to copy that whole thing, right? So you want to put ampersand in front of the vector. Yeah. Okay. So now vector size is 0. You return blank. If not, you return a random element. Is that okay? Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
You know, compilers sometimes these days are very intelligent to know that this function that we just wrote.
I think you want a semicolon on that line.
Which one?
21.
Oh, I see. Now is it okay now?
Yeah, looks good.
Right. So so these days compilers can figure out this is a really trivial function, but not trivial, but it's small enough to be inlined, right? Meaning that it doesn't have to be compiled to a separate function. It could just be wherever it's called, this code could go directly in there, bam, bam, like that, slotted in instead of being called, right? It's faster, mildly faster. And so that is called inlining. And even though we declared it out of line, we can actually make it go in line by prefixing that entire word, no, an entire line. I think, yeah, at the beginning of line 81, I just say inline. I want to just an experiment, right? Because it used to work in C. I don't know if they still do it, but now we don't even need to do that, right? Because the compiler will find out that it's better for it to be inline, right? So before the string, people would put the word inline. That's a hint to the compiler saying that, that's a hint to the compiler saying that even though it's out of line, just make sure that this function is actually inlined in the code. We should forget I talked about that, right? Because it's not relevant at all. Okay, all right. So get rid of the inline word, and then is that it? That's all. No, get random word. Oh, you need those other guys. Get random noun, and also let's define 2 more. Get random noun, and then get random. Oh, 3 more, right? And get those 3 also, and we'll do all those inline in the class itself. Go into your class. Yeah, and there are 3 more methods for the nouns. String get random noun, get random noun.
The noun will come already because we have a vector of nouns.
But how do you get? But it's all private. How does a user of, if I'm using the lucky object, how can I get a noun? Oh, I see. I'm sorry, Turkey. You're actually saying I'm not. I'm Lucky is going to call get random sentence, and get random sentence is going to get it from now. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, all right. Great. Okay, now finish up the get random sentence. Where's your get random sentence? Yeah, have you finished implementing it, or did we miss that? Yeah, we can implement it now. That's the last bit, right? Is that the last bit?
Almost, yeah. It's the.
Okay, let's fill it in, and then we're done. All right. So just copy and paste. Get and define the function first. Define the function on the left. Yeah, get random sentence.
Should it be public?
It should be public. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you actually have it. Oh, it's not a get.
Yeah.
You can actually call it get random sentence. Get random sentence. I think that's better. Call it get random sentence. Right? And that's public. Now let's define that public method. No. Yeah. Oh, I see. You have it autocorrect for you, and I keep forgetting that. All right. Now you can copy and paste, I think, a lot of these guys. Yeah. Now this will just return it, right? It's not going to print it, right? So that's another important thing. Yeah, I think that's good. String, the indentation on the first line, and so on, get random word. No, so the first line should be get random adjective now. No, so the first line, not there. No, the line 91. Line 91, you should call it the function. The name of the function is not get random word from vector anymore. You're just going to say get random adjective, because that's the new thing, right? That's the way we're doing it now. Not there. The previous one. Yeah. So there is get random adjective. And then I think we did the same thing for prepositions, right? Oh, I see. You're saying it needs to go after noun. Yeah. We can move that line later. That's fine. Yeah, all right. Put it there, and then it's going to take a noun and an adjective and a noun as a parameter. Oh, I'm sorry, Turkey. I'm thinking about article, and you're typing adjective here. So yeah. All right. Get random adjective. Get random adjective. Because
so it should be get random vector from the vector adjective.
No, I think we changed it here. In this CPP program, we decided to do get random adjective. Look, go up or down, or I think we have a function called get random adjective. We defined it anyway.
We defined the get random article.
Oh, get rid of the adjectives. Yeah, get rid of. Oh, I say article. Sorry. Again, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right, I'm making the same mistake again and again, and I'm not even seeing what you're saying. Thank you for being patient here. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Go ahead. Get word adjectives, nouns, and article is the one. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. Article 1. Get article. Okay, cool. And then adverb.
This is the noun. It should be get random.
Noun. Yeah, nouns. Yeah. Good. Nouns. I think it's plural. And I think it's underscore nouns, right? So that's why our naming convention is so useful now, right? Because the underscore, it's a member. It's not a local variable in that function. Right. So I think you need oh, I see the other ones. You're doing the other ones. Okay, underscore verbs. And then oh, this should be get random preposition. And then we're going to write a random preposition function. Oh, maybe we did that already.
Yeah, we did.
Is everybody okay? This is dreadful silence other than me and Turkey, and then nobody's talking, and some of you seem to be in a daze, and I don't know if you're looking at the code or not.
I'm looking at it.
Okay, good, thank you. All right. Is that it? Yeah, okay, and then you can return like a sentence and put the return on the new line on a line before that. Yeah, okay, cool. That looks much better.
Does line 95 not take arguments?
95.
No, the preposition does not depend on a previous word.
Oh, okay.
Only the adjective. No, or the following word, I think.
Huh. Oh yeah, you're right.
Is that it? Fruity, we can change your main to say again. Oh yeah, you already got it. So you can say you can run that, and then now you can change your main to take argc and take argc and argv into account, and say if argc equals 1 on the first line, even after lucky after 108 after line 108, and you want to say sran, right? You want to call sran, and you want to call sran before lucky, right? On the very first line after 107. Yeah, you want to call sran right there. Sran, yeah. Great. And then you declare lucky. And then if argc equals 1, you're going to say string sentence equals lucky.get sentence. Yes, thank you. And if argc is not equal to 1, which means it's got to be greater than 1 on the next line. Oh no, you can't have the string sentence declared inside of the if, right? I think string sentence needs to be up there. The string sentence need to be declared after lucky. You say string sentence. After semicolon there, semicolon there, semicolon after sentence, semicolon after sentence. No, after sentence. Yeah, there. Not there. Get that entire part after the equals. Yeah, all of that put in your clipboard. Yeah, okay, and then semicolon there, and then on after there on the next line, you say sentence equals. No, you don't need the braces. You just say sentence equals. Lucky.get sentence. Yeah. All right. Does it make sense? That's it. I see. You say return sentence. No, you say return sentence. In fact, you say return lucky.sentence. You can put the whole thing in one line. You don't even need to say sentence equals. So you say return space. Yeah. If argc equals 1, return lucky sentence. You can get rid of the and you can get rid of the braces also. It's just one line. It's an easy out, right? It's an easy out. We just took the easy out. All right. If argc is not equal to 1, if argc is not equal to 1 on the next line, one more blank line, right? One more blank line. Oh, you know what? The lucky object itself should be declared in two different ways. So you need the braces, unfortunately. All right. So put a brace after if argc equals 1 there. Put a brace after equal. Yeah, there. Put a brace. Enter. Enter after that, and say and then enter on the first line. You say lucky. That's where you declare lucky because you want the default lucky there, right? So you can actually say lucky semicolon, and then and close it. Close the brace. All right, so that's your default behavior. If argc is 1, it'll just create a lucky without parameters and do that. Otherwise, it's going to create a lucky with your argv of 1, right? So now you're going to say lucky argv of 1. No, now this lucky takes a parameter, right? This is going to call the non-default constructor. You can actually put an argv of 1 there, and you can actually put a comment there for students who come and try and understand this. Saying a non-default constructor invoked with the first parameter for package folder, or you can put it. This line is so long, you can put it on the previous line.
Do we need to add parentheses here?
Hmm?
Do we need to add parentheses to this lucky or not?
Oh no parentheses there. Sorry. Yeah, you don't need to.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can. Technically, I think it's possible to have the parentheses there. It doesn't make any difference. But you'll see a lot of programmers just declare it without parentheses. The compiler will put if it's a default constructor, the compiler will put parentheses for you. Thank you. All right.
And we return the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. You just return the same. In fact, that's better, right? Yeah, now there's scope for refactoring here. I'll leave that to you though. You just return the same thing as before. You say return lucky.sentence. Oh, I see. This is main. You got to print it.
Yeah.
You got to see out instead of lucky return. See out your lucky sentences, and then say lucky.get sentence.
I think I'm just gonna copy.
Yeah, you can just copy. And it can be off the day, right? Because I'm going to run it many times. Your lucky sentence of the moment of the moment. Yeah, okay. And you need a space after the colon. Otherwise, the sentence will run into it. Okay, lucky sentence. All right. And then you can get rid of.
Lucky RP.
You want the same, just a similar kind of thing. Yeah, see how. So obviously you can see that there is scope for refactoring here, right? But it's not like object level refactoring. It's just code level, procedural style refactoring, right? Because you got the same cout statement, and so here's what homework for you guys, right? It's 9:32. I don't want to do it in class. You can actually do it quite easily on your own. Maybe I'll just disappear and you guys can do it, right? Here's what I'm suggesting is that because we're doing this two different constructors, what is it? What we want to do is essentially move the thing into the. So what we want to do is essentially move that everything the constructor is doing. You want to move into a special method called init or something, so that you don't have to declare lucky in two different places. You can just say lucky in one place, and then inside of your braces you can say lucky.init with no parameters, and here you can say lucky.init with. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that way you can minimize these things. You want to do it now? I can walk you through it. But really, this is the last bit of the juice left in it. Really, I think. Yeah, there's more juice. This is the last bit of the trivial juice left in it. You guys want to do it? You want to? So what? Do you understand what I mean? Right? Because you're having to call the lucky object creation two different times. Even though. Computationally, it doesn't make any difference, right? Computationally, it's the same, but it looks ugly, right? Because you're saying it's the same object created here, destroyed here, right? And it's not a trivial object. If it's an integer, you don't care. But it's not a trivial object. You don't want to create an object destroyed immediately. So if you can at all, with non-trivial objects which contain vectors and other things inside of them, you don't want to keep creating them many times. You want to create one time and then reuse it as many times as possible. No, what I said, does that make sense to you guys, right? It's very important because that is the overriding paradigm that kind of dictates how we structure our code. Is everybody okay with that? Do you agree with me or not? Yeah, so what we want to try and do is basically do some refactoring here so that so I'll do the main part of it. Okay, you guys can do it later. Okay, in main after srand, just do the lucky as you did before, right? Do lucky. Yeah, semicolon. All right. No, the second lucky is lowercase. Right, that's you're creating an object there. Okay. Now inside of argc equals 1, you're going to say lucky dot. In fact. Yeah, in fact, what we'll do is create two different versions of get sentence. No. Actually, the object has to be loaded and inited. All right, we do need an init method. You're gonna have to write an init method. I'm sorry. So I was trying to see if you could get away with it. Okay, so here you're going to say no, that's fine. Inside of the braces on line 111, you say lucky.init, lucky._init. No, you need all of that. You need no. argc equals 1. Yeah, or close. Where you have lucky on line 1. I'm sorry, I can't even see because I'm going to reduce
130.
130. Yeah. All right, some of you are going to drop off. Actually, no, I managed to get you off. No, it's still no. All right, some of you are not here. Okay, so yeah, on line 113, change that into lucky.init, lucky, lucky.init. You can remove the declaration lucky, right? Because now you're using that object, you're calling a method called _init, _init, lucky._init, and then open close, semicolon, right? And then the other one, this on line 119, you say lucky.init with argv of 1, right? So you can get rid of the lucky qualification, the type. Click on, yeah, there, lucky.init, and then you have parentheses are messed up, right? So you got the open close. Okay, all right. So and then now you can say it's not the non-default constructor. It is basically initialized with file, right? Initialized with package name. So instead of that, you'll say initialize with package folder. init with package folder. Yeah, whatever, as you see fit, right? Now go ahead and implement init on your own. Are you guys okay with doing that? Now you see how what we've done here. This is a cool thing, right? So init, and then you print the C out there, and you can also factor out the line 114, line 114. Triple click the line, cut it, and paste it above the if statement. So it's only once, right? You don't have to print it 2 times.
So is init a constructor?
One sec. One blank line before 110. So because after the declarations. Yeah, okay. All right. Sorry, you were saying, Mark?
Is init a constructor?
I'm not quite sure I understand what you're saying. Give me 1 sec, okay, Mark? I'll listen to your question one more time. Hang on.
Yeah.
So if argc is 1, you init it, and then see out. Well, I'm wondering if you could get away with. Yeah. In fact, oh, that's right. You can get rid of the cout inside of the if statement, right? You can get rid of the cout and the return, both of those. You can get rid of the cout and the return, both of those. Yeah, get rid of that, and if argc equals 1, and oh, this is really cool. It's actually factoring very nicely. Okay, I'll show you. Right now, after the on line 114, get rid of the curly brace, right, and get rid of the line entirely. Yeah, and after lucky.init, hit enter. Enter. Oh, no, not it. So backspace on the previous line. On the previous line, you say enter one more time. Backspace. Else. Enter. Lucky.init with argv of 1. Okay, how cool is that? Okay, yeah. Okay, now after that, you can just do, you can even take your cout below that, right? Now it's all together also, it's all quite nicely, right? Cout, and then you can get the one, your cout statement from 111 also bunched up with this, so it's all together, yeah. Okay, all right, now you can say lucky.get sentence and end all. All right, now that is a much better structured, yes? Procedurally much better structured, isn't it? It's cleaned up. You don't have multiple things saying exactly the same thing, and so on.
I think you still need a return, don't you?
You do need a return zero. Hey, Mark, you had a question about the constructor.
I was just asking if underscore init is like a constructor or
no, it's not a constructor.
built-in.
The constructor, you see, the init returns a value. In this case, it doesn't. It is going to be void. But init is not a constructor. The constructor is. Because the constructor doesn't have a return type at all. Constructor makes the object. Init is just some method that you attach to the object. When init is invoked, it's going to change those vectors. You can change the name from init, maybe. Call it, yeah, maybe in some other languages they call it. Can you call it, instead of init, call it load vectors. Yeah, lucky.load vectors, or load words. Yeah, and also the other init. You can change that one too. Is that better? It doesn't look like a constructor anymore, right?
Yeah, it doesn't look like some pre-built function has this.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know in some languages they have these underscore special functions. All right, good. All right, now you guys have just write a load words, which essentially is taking whatever is in the constructor. You don't need the constructor anymore, right? Because you can do it with the default constructor. So go to your constructor. I shouldn't really be talking you through these things, because I'll give you a hint. Okay, you don't need the constructors anymore. You can just get rid of all of the constructors, right? And just have the two. In fact, you can just change the two constructors into your. You don't have to do anything. Just change the two constructors into your init methods. That's it, or load words methods. That's it. You're done. All right, and then your program should compile and run. I actually compiled it in my brain by looking at your, if you compile it now, I bet you will have 0 errors. Well, after you implement the init method. All right, go back to your constructor. I'm sorry. Okay, I shouldn't really be talking you through these things. I'm going to disappear off screen. Okay, you guys can work through this. Are you guys okay with that? Do you want me to talk you through this? Because there's only a very small bit left to do. Only thing you need to tell me afterwards is whether I was right or wrong, that there's no syntax errors in this code, okay? So tell me that. Are you guys okay, comfortable with doing that? You just have to turn two constructors into init methods. That's it. You're good to go. You can compile and run after that. Yes or no? All right, and run it many times, you get different sentences. No syntax errors?
I think it might have some, but I did not
Oh,
change
bummer.
the
Okay.
constructor yet.
Yeah, you
not
can never
change
be
the
too confident. Oh, it's load words. I don't see any syntax errors. Maybe you didn't call. Oh, you don't have a function called load words. You didn't define
Yeah,
that.
we don't.
We didn't declare it. You call it init. You just have to have that init. Load words. No. Read not read words. Up. Lucky. No, right at the top in the class itself, in the class def. Right. Go right to the top to the class def. No, right to the top. Right to the. Right. So you don't have a function called load words, which is right. Enter right there. You need a private helper called load words, right? String. No, this is a void. Space underscore load underscore words, and then it's going to take. It's two versions of it. One doesn't take any parameters. You have another version of it which takes parameters. Enter. Yeah. Now you have another version that takes a parameter. So a string package name or a string package folder. A string folder name or something like that. No, string folder name. What did you call it in your constructor? You call it
I think a package folder.
package. Yeah. All right. There you go. You have these two functions now. And in fact, you don't. So go back to your thing one more time. Go back. You don't need the two constructors where you have a public. Yeah, you can get rid of those two constructors. You don't need the two constructors, right? Because now you can do with the default constructor, which will give you default vectors, right? Your load is going to take care of filling those values in. Yes? Great. Okay. But there is a problem here that I will give 1 extra credit point to anyone who can point out later on in the Reddit, because there is a case that we didn't account for that programmer could still crash this class because they could call get sentence before having loaded any of the words. So you got to find some way of guarding against that. Does everybody understand what I said? Because now that you just detached your word loading from the constructors, it's possible to create an object with empty vectors. Why is that I'm talking and nobody's even giving me feedback as to whether they're in step or not?
I didn't understand.
Right. Now that we detached the word loading of the vectors from the constructors itself, before, remember, in the constructor, you were reading the file and filling in those vectors called nouns, verbs, adjectives, PPs, and you filled those vectors in the constructor, yes or no? Before.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not doing that anymore. When you ask for lucky, you're just getting a blank lucky with all blank vectors, yes or no?
Blank vector.
Now you don't have special constructors. You don't have any special constructors now.
Oh yeah.
Right? Now everything is being done in your load. You created a special load function, which you have to call to initialize the object. So when you get the object is created with empty vectors, all default values. This is actually a very subtle and important point, right? Because lots of people miss that and they end up with out of bound errors and things like that. Because they think that an initialization, like Mark, right? So it's very tempting to think that the initialization is also part of the construction. No, it's not. It's something we wrote. And if a user doesn't explicitly call it, all the vectors are empty. Previously, that didn't happen because we tied it in with the constructor. Every time you make an object, it's automatically filled in. Right? So do you appreciate the advantage and disadvantage of the two sides of the coin? Right? Previously, there was no way we could get vectors that were empty because the constructor, either of those constructors, made sure all of those vectors were filled. Now it's possible.
What's up with line 32?
Oh, sorry?
I'm just seeing that comment and wondering why it's a different color.
Oh, yeah.
No,
It's true. To-dos are colored differently, so you can scan through it and identify where things need to be done. Oh, yeah. Eclipse does it differently. I think Eclipse or Xcode or something like that puts an arrow on the left margin, so that's easier. You can scan the margin. Yeah, I don't know if this is better, really, because when already you have a cornucopia of colors in your code, and especially there are people who can't tell the difference between gold and yellow, right?
why do we have like 2/ before the PP? And line 34.
Oh, you can get rid of the line. The
Oh
purpose-
yeah, I commented.
yeah, get rid of
commented
it.
it out.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We need it, right? We need the. Oh yeah, we don't need it. We don't need it.
Not anymore.
Do you still have the -pp variable in the class? You don't need the variable in there. Because the variable
I
is now
took it away.
Yeah, then it wouldn't have compiled before. No, yeah, well, it would have warned you saying there's a class member you never used. I don't know.
That's why I fixed it.
Great. Is that it now? Is everybody in step? Because load words, you have to somehow figure out a way in which when you ask for what do you do when you ask for a random word and the vector is empty? No, when you ask for a random article, get random word or something like that. Get random noun. No, not there. Get random noun. Get random word. Oh, you're calling get random word from vector. Oh, that's cool. So your program will never crash, right? So even though it'll have undesirable behavior, your program won't crash because even though your object might be empty with all empty vectors, and you say, give me a random sentence from the empty vector, empty object, right? All your vectors are empty. He's not going to go and divide by 0. Do you know how you found a vector index? With an empty vector, you say rand %0. Rand %0 is going to throw an arithmetic exception, right? And kill the program. So that won't happen because we actually took care of that by defensive programming. See how that's why defensive programming is so useful, because you don't have to do many of these things downstream and say, hey, you don't have to worry about these things, right? Like we did just now, it's all taken care of. It should compile and run now. I think your load words. Oh, you did implement it. Okay, good. I didn't actually take it away from you. All right, so that's still there. Okay, so all it's saying is that you have a function called load word. You haven't implemented it. You can do that. You just have to take it, turn your two constructors. Did you go to your class? Did you get rid of the two constructors altogether?
Yeah.
All right. So now all you need to do is the constructor code. You already have the implementation of the two constructors, right? Turn the two constructors into your loads, and you're done. And then you should compile and run it. What time is it now? Yeah, we got 1 more minute. Okay, you'll be able to compile and run it, and it'll work within the next minute, and we're good, right? And we took that entire program and turned it into object-oriented, right? So
I changed the load words from lucky, but I don't know what is the error that's giving me.
oh, I see. What is the error?
Declared private. Package.
Oh, I see. You just need to make it public, right? And then you don't have the underscore anymore, because now load words is something you're going to ask the user to call. The client will call it, right? So you can triple click on the line and move it, make it a public method. Triple click on the line and move.
Which one? The whole thing?
Yeah, triple click and move that to a public section. Yeah, both of them to a public section. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I think, and remove the underscores. Remove the underscores. You have to do refactoring now because it's in other places also. Now you have to find out where it is. Okay. I think that's it, right? No, you still have the underscore. Oh, you have to finalize. Okay, good. All right.
I don't think
Oh, it
so.
didn't do it. Did you do it manually?
It changed main, but it didn't change the function
I
declaration
see.
with luck.
All right, never mind. Okay, all right, good. Now I think it should work, right? This should compile and run. No, all right. It looks shows you how wrong I was. All right. Okay.
Green lucky get random article.
Hang on. What does it say? What is it? No matching function. Get random article. We don't have a function called get random article. Oh, and you're calling get random article with one parameter only somewhere. You're supposed to take 2 parameters. Somewhere you're calling article 2. You're calling with only 1 parameter. You're not passing.
Yeah, it should be a noun and the
noun second. So noun is your second. Yeah.
so it should be noun 1.
And noun 1, and then the other one is noun 2. Yeah, I think that's it. No, still no. All right, okay. All right, adverbs. What's the problem with adverbs? What does it say? Get random sentence.
It's not
Was
declared.
not
in the scope.
declared.
Get random word from vector. Get random word. Oh no, it's underscore get random word. You didn't call it with underscore.
Oh. Here you go.
And the next one also. All right, okay. Any more? Any more? No, that's all. Okay, now it should compile them. No, it's still not.
Load words. I think it's an
All
underscore
right.
one too.
This is so funny.
Load words.
No word.
What does it say? What is the error?
Candidates are void. Okay. Where is it?
Oh yeah, let me see the error. Hang on just a sec. All right. Oh, that does not match. Oh, hang on. No, no prototype for lucky load words. You don't have a prototype for that? Go up to the class. You don't have a load words prototype. Go up. You don't load underscore words string package folder load void load words. Okay, and where are you calling them? Where are you calling them?
Here. And
Is it exactly the same?
here.
Prototype does not match any in lucky.
Oh, here you go.
What?
We still had the proposition
Oh, we
listed
still
in the
have
load word.
PP. Yeah.
I don't understand the why. No, but the error message was different. The error message says that there is no, it doesn't understand. Oh, I see. It didn't even compile one of those. Okay, because of the error. Okay, good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So just make sure everything clutch.
You still.
Oh, it's still.
Yes.
All
Still.
right, so yeah, that's what I thought. It was a different error. Okay, let me see. No, wait. Load words. It's well, what is saying? Where is the first error? Where is the first place where you got that error?
There you
Okay,
go.
all right. Okay, prototype does not match any in class lucky colon in class lucky colon load words. And it says that there is no function called lucky colon load words in the lucky class. Why is that? Let's take a look at your class again. I think there's some funky class. Public void load words. That's all, Peter. Okay. For now, come back after 12 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to think more about this. I can't see anything obviously wrong here. You know, there's said to be two kinds of errors. Two kinds of ways to program. One is to program in such a way that there are no obvious, and that there are obviously no errors. And the other is to program in such a way there are no obvious errors. Okay, so second is dangerous. So if you program so your errors are not obvious, then you're screwed, right? So obviously no errors is good. But obviously we have a lot of errors here. Right? You know, I think
may I ask why in the main we put a lower division lucky in front of the load work?
I'm sorry. Wait.
Why do we put the lower division lucky in front of the load work?
Lowercase. You mean lowercase?
Lowercase, yeah.
You can call it anything. You can call it Changyi.
Because we declare the lucky with lucky, with the uppercase lucky.
Oh, you can just rename it to. Don't call it lucky. I think it's called I know. New sentence generator. New sentence generator. It's not a sentence, right? It's an.
I mean in the if and else we put the lower division lucky in front
No,
of
that's
the
what he's going to do.
words.
Right, lucky. Hey, change it. Refactor it. Don't call it lucky. I was afraid it was do that. Call it a lucky sentence generator. Instead of no, it's not a sentence. It's not a sentence, right? It's a sentence generator. Lucky. No, just say sentence generator. Don't say lucky sentence generator. Sentence underscore generator. Oh, you didn't do refactoring. Okay, now you're going to have to change everything. Okay, does that make more sense?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Thank
I think
you.
I was afraid when we said lucky and lucky like we do in Java. People will get confused. All right. Anyway, load words. Okay. Give me 1 sec. Okay, let me just try and think through this. Maybe I'm not like void load underscore words. That looks perfectly fine to me. And then void load underscore.
Oh,
words.
maybe in 33 you need a void in front.
Where?
Line 33.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, who said that? Mark, did you
That was
spot
it.
that? Hey, thank you, Mark. Okay. All right. That was it. All right, great. I was looking in the totally wrong place. Okay. Still. Okay, but this one should be easy. This one should be easy. All right. I think it's
The word was not declared.
Yeah, because you don't have, no. What does it say? Read words was not declared in the scope. Let's take a look at the read words function.
It's probably the same kind of thing.
Declaration. No, it's underscore read words. It's not read words, underscore read words. Because read words is private, isn't it? Read words is private. So it's underscore read words. I'm so glad we're running into all these issues, right? Because many times you just look at a finished program in school and you say,
Hey.
Oh,
yeah, a sad bird carefully walked over the lovely bone. It makes total sense, right? Because if you're sad, you don't want to get your feet bruised by cracked glass and be even sadder. Okay, so you got to walk carefully over. Yeah, but for some reason, Turkey, you're getting the same verbs many times or adjectives. But it'll be better once someone fixes or comes up with a good package. Someone come up with a good package, right? I'll give you a point if you come up with a Game of Thrones or a Star Wars package. All right, so do that. And is that good? Was that useful? Was that useful today? We went through the end, right? End to end, right? We started with a blank slate. We took an older program which was not object-oriented, and we converted that completely to object-oriented. Yeah, and class, and talked about private and public and how all these things work. It's really cool. So next class, I don't know what we're supposed to cover. I'll take a look, right? But I don't know if we need to learn about protected. Protected is another kind, private, public, and protected. But that'll come in CS2B. So don't worry about protected now. Oh, we'll figure out something interesting to do next class. Okay, next week. Week 8. I don't know.
I think the reason that it was redundant was because there was no package, and he just got the package implemented. I could be mistaken.
What was redundant?
Well, I mean, it's using the same word over and over, right? But now that the package has been implemented, I think it's going to be a little.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but even the version that Turkey had before, even that had a package implemented, because you remember he was reading from his own files. He had a directory called package, and inside which he had those 4 files. But it's just that it was coming up with the same words repeatedly.
I've noticed if you run it consecutively after each other, and if you check even the text file on the side, you can see the words actually come in. Like you can see where the selector is going. It's going.
Oh, I see. Yeah. All right. Okay.
So if you wait a little bit, it actually switches.
But you'll get the exact same sentence in that case. You shouldn't get the same one. One of them should be similar. What I'm thinking is that if you run it 2 times rapidly, bam, bam, within the same second, within the same clock tick, right? Time will return the exact same value, same second, right? So srand will feed into the same place. So you get the same sequence of random numbers in both of the runs. So you get the same sentence. But that should if that happens, you'll get the same sentence. You can't have one word. Just
See, I did it fast. If you notice.
Yeah, but if you do it fast, you get the exact same sentence, right? Thanks. But previously, when you ran it, it wasn't the exact same sentence. It was just one adverb or adjective that you get the same thing many times, right? Adverb, right? Anyway, you can figure this out. But if you create these packages, I think it'll be really cool. We'll have fun. Was this a fun class? Was it useful? Did you guys learn any useful skills today?
Yeah.
All right,
Professor, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So when we call the public, we have to include the underscore before it, right?
No, you don't have to. Well, what we're doing is we're basically following a convention. Yeah, it's just a convention. Yeah, we say that if we put an underscore, it means that it's private. Help us. Yeah. Everybody okay so far?
Yeah, I understand it.
Yeah.
I posted the CPP file in chat.
Yeah, and also if someone can post them side by side and also explain what we did and say, in a way in which it will be really useful for someone coming into week 7, right? Reading this instead of the LOSEF module. Actually, we cover a lot of stuff here. It will be very useful, especially if you point into the video and all. Next quarter, maybe I can take a break and say, you guys watch the video. I'm gonna go and play with Peter. Okay, so yeah. So if you do that, I'll give you an extra credit point on your questing or something, right? Midterm or something. Is that good? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And thank you so much for being patient with me. And but despite all the time we wasted, we managed to cover it end to end. We got a working program at the end, right? So this is really cool. So you should absolutely share it on Reddit, and people will be happy. Isaiah, you haven't spoken up. Are you here now? Okay, all right. So maybe he's taken off because it's past 10 o'clock. Okay, so but yeah, please do chime in and get everybody get on the same page. Okay, if you're not on the same page, it's not anyone's fault, it's your fault. Okay, because you paid for it. Think about it. You paid for it. You paid for getting on the same page as everyone. Okay, if you're not doing it, then you're just money wasted, right? So you should ask. You should say, hey, go to the STEM center and so on and so forth. Okay, or ask me. I'll help. Okay. Right. I'll talk to you guys later. I hope I have given you enough to chew on over the weekend. Okay, so you got 4 days. Okay, 4 days. Keep playing with code every single day. You should aim to code at least 1 hour. Okay, just play around. At the end of the hour, if you're not where you want to be, that's fine. Don't care.
Okay, hi, Professor.
Yeah.
Have you received my email? Yesterday.
I have.
Yeah.
Havian. I'll reply to you. Okay, it's on my list. I'm planning to get to it today.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. See you guys
Bye.
later. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Bye.